He came downstairs, asked where his phone was, and then threw her to the ground. What happened next changed everything. Pop singer Dawn Richard never imagined she'd be describing scenes of brutal violence in a courtroom. But now, she's doing just that, exposing what she says she witnessed behind closed doors, while working with one of the most powerful figures in music, Sean "Diddy" Combs. Richard, now 41, first worked with Combs in 2004 during the reality show Making the Band. She rose to fame through groups like Donny Kane and Dirty Money, all under Diddy's record label. But what she experienced off stage, she says, was far from glamorous. This week, in a federal courtroom in New York, Dawn testified that she feared for her life after witnessing Diddy brutally assault his then-girlfriend, singer Cassie Ventura. The incident took place in 2009 in Los Angeles. Richard recalled Diddy storming downstairs in a rage. He accused Cassie of hiding his phone. And then she said he grabbed Cassie and threw her on the floor. Cassie curled into a fetal position, trying to protect herself. Dawn said Diddy took a skillet, filled with eggs, and struck Cassie. Then he kicked her, punched her in the face and stomach, choked her, and dragged her upstairs. I was scared for her. I was scared to move, Dawn told the jury. But the violence wasn't the only thing that left a mark. It was the threat. After the attack, Dawn says Diddy turned to her and said, "You can disappear. You can die." Dawn said that moment terrified her. It was the beginning of their work together in Dirty Money, and she feared for her safety every day after. Richard testified that the abuse wasn't a one-time incident. He hit her often, she told the court. He choked her, slapped her, kicked her. Sometimes it was because she stood up for herself. Sometimes it was for no reason at all. She said Cassie was quiet, but when she did push back, Diddy responded with violence. Richard also described being a victim herself. She said Diddy forced her to strip down to her underwear and made demeaning comments about her body. He allegedly entered her dressing room without permission and subjected her to a hostile and degrading work environment. 8 months before the trial, Richard filed a separate civil lawsuit against Diddy. In it, she accused him of years of inhumane working conditions, sexual harassment, unwanted touching, and psychological abuse. She claimed she was exposed to environments involving sex trafficking and coerced sexual acts, and that Diddy's circle enabled this behavior. In court, Richard told the jury that Combs' assistants carried Louis Vuitton bags filled with drugs. She also testified that firearms were regularly present, sometimes tucked into the waistbands of his bodyguards. And she said drugs were delivered directly to Diddy's recording studio. Despite the seriousness of her claims, Richard isn't a plaintiff in this criminal trial. She's a witness, speaking out for the sake of the truth. The charges against Combs are severe: sex trafficking, conspiracy, extortion, and participation in a criminal enterprise. If convicted, he could face life in prison. The trial began on May 5th and is expected to last 2 months. Cassie Ventura was the first major witness, testifying that she endured years of physical, emotional, and sexual abuse. She said she was coerced into multi-day freak-offs, sex parties involving drugs, fear, and control. Now it's Dawn's turn. The defense has tried to discredit her. They pointed to discrepancies. For example, that she once said Diddy threw eggs, not a skillet. But Dawn stood by her core testimony. "I didn't remember everything right away," she said. "It was a dark time. I tried to block it out. But now I remember, and I want to speak." She told the court, "I want justice." Dawn Richard's voice joins those of other women who say Diddy used his fame, power, and wealth to silence, intimidate, and harm. Her testimony is not only about what she saw, but about what she endured. And for the first time, she's saying it out loud in front of the world. If the jury believes her, it could strengthen the case that Diddy didn't just abuse his romantic partners. He ruled over a world of control, fear, and silence. And now, that silence is finally breaking. If you want more on this trial, and those who are bravely stepping forward, subscribe to this channel. This story isn't over, not even close. Because sometimes, justice begins when one voice refuses to be silenced.